Welcome to McNulty's Book Corral. Today we're going to talk about the great author John Nichols, who wrote The Sterile Cuckoo and the Milagro Beanfield War and many other wonderful books. He is best known for the Milagro Beanfield War. Some of you may have seen the wonderful film directed by Robert Redford that came out some time ago. I think it was the 80s. And that's a great book. All of his books are wonderful, but today I want to talk about his first book, which is The Sterile Cuckoo. This was 1960, 66, 65, 66, I believe. This is the copy that my grandmother owned, and then it went to my mother, and then it went to me. So I'm quite familiar with this book. As a child, it was bouncing around the house. I'm a little surprised that the dust jacket has survived all these years. There's a great picture of John Nichols on it. I'll have a scan of that at the end of this. The Sterile Cuckoo is a love story. It's about these two college students who fall in love, Pookie and so forth. Many of you may be familiar with the 1969 film starring Liza Minnelli. It also had the hit song on the soundtrack by the Sandpipers, which was called Come Saturday Morning. If you heard it, you'll recognize it. It was a big hit. I remember distinctly watching the film in 1969 when it came out, and that was an interesting year for motion pictures, by the way, because True Grit came out that year, The Wild Bunch, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and other great westerns. And out of all of these great westerns that came out of 1969, somehow I went and saw this film called The Sterile Cuckoo. I saw the film before I read the book. I read the book shortly thereafter, however. It's a great book. I've hung on to it all these years, because it's a good story. It's a love story. Little quirky, romantic trials and tribulations of two college students in their first big romance together. This was his first book and propelled him to a fantastic career as a novelist. John Nichols is great. He lives down in New Mexico, and I wrote to him recently. I wanted to get his impressions. I wrote to him and asked if he would send me some comments about The Sterile Cuckoo, because it was the first of his books and one of my favorites. And he did respond. As a matter of fact, he sent me a handwritten letter. Think about that. In this day and age where you're lucky to get an email from anybody that's done anything that's in the public eye, to get a handwritten letter, both sides. Here's his signature down here. Isn't that wonderful? And he talks at length about writing the book, how the film came to be made with Liza Minnelli and so forth. And it's really a wonderful, heartfelt letter that Mr. Nichols wrote to me, and I treasure it, and I thank him. If I don't know, I don't think he's on the internet. He does have a website you can check out, but this is through the mail. To get a handwritten letter from an author of any type in this day and age is really rare. They just don't do it anymore. The last person that sent me a handwritten letter was Ray Bradbury. And I have a couple of those from him, actually, quite a few. But it's not something that people do. They use email, John Nichols wrote me a letter, all right? So I treasure this. Thank you, sir. So I'm recommending all of the novels of the great John Nichols, who lives down there in New Mexico. I hope you're doing well. If you should see this. And if you get a chance, check out The Sterile Cuckoo and read the book. It's really a good first novel. And again, this started a fantastic career. All of his books are fascinating, and you should read them. So, it's one of those heartfelt debuts that started a wonderful career for a wonderful American writer. So that's it for today. Stay well, stay happy, feed your brain, read a book.